Have you ever noticed that the more you want to perform well, the more easily you seem to mess things up? It is as if the moment you want something too much, your whole body begins to tighten. The problem is not always that you are not trying hard enough. Sometimes the problem is exactly that you are trying too hard. You do something while checking whether you're doing it well enough. You speak while judging whether you sound smart enough. You spend time with someone while imagining how they are seeing you. And slowly you leave the thing itself. You are no longer just doing the thing, you begin to watch yourself doing it. You are no longer simply expressing yourself, you begin to check whether your expression is good enough. You are no longer fully living in the moment. You start standing outside yourself, giving yourself a score. So you become more and more tense because your attention is no longer in front of you. It is turned back onto yourself. How do I look right now? Do I seem weird? Should I be doing better than this? When a person keeps watching themselves like this, it becomes very hard to truly relax. Many times, we think we are pursuing a better result. But actually, we are afraid of letting an imperfect self be seen. So we become very forceful. We force our words, we force our performance, we force ourselves to maintain a version of ourselves that looks acceptable. But the more we do this, the more things become distorted. Because we are no longer entering the thing itself. We are trying to control how we appear in other people's eyes. In Taoist thought, there is an idea that explains this very well. Sometimes, the more urgently you try to put yourself in front, the more easily you are tripped up by yourself. This is not about giving yourself up, and it is not about having no desires. It means that when you are too eager to prove yourself, you may lose the natural self that was already there. You want to perform well, so you become unable to perform naturally. You want to prove that you are capable, so every task becomes a test. In the end, you are exhausted, but you no longer know whether you are doing the thing itself or trying to prove that you deserve to be doing it. This is why sometimes, when you are less deliberate, things actually go better. Not because you suddenly became more capable, but because you finally stopped staring at yourself. You simply placed your attention back on the thing itself. When you speak, you are really expressing something. When you do something, you are really doing it. When you are with someone, you are really listening. In that moment, you are no longer so desperate to control the result. You are no longer so desperate to prove yourself. You are no longer so desperate to show others a perfect version of you. And because of that, a more real version of you has a chance to appear. Many things are like this. The more you try to hold on, the tighter you become. The more you try to prove yourself, the more easily you lose your original state. But when you place the thought of, I must perform well, a little further behind you, things may begin to feel lighter. Not because the result does not matter, but because you no longer let the result decide the value of your entire self. Not because other people's eyes do not matter at all, but because you no longer give all your attention to how other people may see you. You begin to return to the thing itself, to this moment, and to what you truly want to express. Sometimes, being natural is not a talent you are born with. It is what becomes possible when you finally stop monitoring yourself all the time. You can be imperfect, you can be a little clumsy, you can pause for a moment, but you are still here. You are still real. And what is real often has more power than what is perfect. A truly good state is not always thinking, I need to prove that I can do this. A truly good state may be the moment when you can finally forget yourself for a while. This does not mean you no longer have a self. On the contrary, When you stop holding on to yourself so tightly, your real self may return more easily. Because you do not need to act. You do not need to keep checking whether you are doing everything right. You can quietly do something not to prove that you are special, but because you truly want to do it. Some things are not gained by force. Some states do not appear through control. Some things that truly belong to you slowly reveal themselves when you are no longer so desperate to prove yourself. So if you find that the more you want to perform well, the more nervous you become, you do not need to keep blaming yourself. You can first stop and ask, am I really doing this thing right now? Or am I rushing to prove myself? Is my attention here in front of me, or is it trapped in my imagination of how other people might see me? Then slowly bring yourself back to the thing itself, back to this moment. Back to the self that doesn't need to keep performing in order to exist. Sometimes you do not need to try harder. You need to try a little less. Stop turning everything into proof. Stop placing yourself under a spotlight and examining yourself again and again. When you stop rushing to become the best version of yourself, you may actually come closer to your real self.